So when he take off running, the first thing I did was, jumped up because I didn't know if he was taking off or because of me or whatever. Because, like I said, when I seen him on the bus and he asked me about the Muslim prayer rugs and stuff, he knew that like a lot of information was going on about that. I felt like maybe Akbar told him what to do when he got down there, saying to maybe do something to me. So I didn't know. So when he got to running towards me, that's the first thing came to my mind was like, dang, man, so I jumped up. He ran by me, but my heart, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of froze for a second because I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what was actually going to happen at that time. But yeah, even though he ran by me and the dude behind him ended up fighting and stuff like that, it still kind of scared me because after that, I kind of got up and moved. I hurried up and moved myself, took off back up to the dorm. I was like, shit, it's time for me to go in and check myself back in. So I get back up in the dorm. I sit on my little bed right there. I'm like, shit, with my head down for a minute, out of breath. Because I mean, you get one of those type of situations like that. Like I said, I was getting into so much stuff, and people was always on my back about certain things. I ain't know when it was gonna happen to me. I ain't know if somebody was gonna do it today. I ain't know if it was gonna be tomorrow. I ain't know if it was gonna be next week. Because, like I said, I didn't really know anything about the whole institution at that time. So I'm like, fuck, man, damn, man. So I get up, go to the back, to wash my hands or something back there in the back. Put some water on my face because, like I said, I was kind of going through something at the time. But there's a dude named Marvin back there, and he was like, shit, man, what's up, man? I was like, shit, what's up, man? He was like, man, I seen you on the yard, man, when you took off. He said, man, you looked as scared as a mug. And I was like, shit, hell yeah, I was scared. He was like, shit, damn, man, you ain't got to be scared like that. I was like, yeah, I was kind of scared, for real. I ain't know what was going to go on. He was like, shit, damn. He was like, shit, what you scared about? You know what I'm saying? Being up in here, he said, because shit, this penitentiary ain't, as long as you watch your back and stuff like that, everything's going to be cool and stuff. I was like, yeah, but shit, I done got myself caught up in a lot of wicked stuff around here when I first started out. He was like, shit, oh, did you? And I was like, shit, yep. I was like, yeah, man, when I was in Lansing, man, I stole these Muslim prayer rugs and I got myself in like a little jam. He said, man, you stole something from the Muslims? I was like, yeah, man. He started laughing. It's like, pointed his finger at me. He was like, boy, I tell you, you got a hell of a story right there. I was like, yeah, man, I took him from the Muslim stuff. He was like, boy, they on your ass, ain't they? And I was like, yeah, man. I said, that's why when I seen that, I didn't know if they was coming for me. So I had to hurry up and, said do the dash and get up out there. He was like, shit, I would have done it too. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, shit, the way that they moved, it's kind of crazy and stuff. I was like, he said this is going to be kind of different when I go down here. He's like, yeah, man. They said that dude Hakeem, man, him and Taifa, boy, both of them is kind of wild, man. Both of them got hands. They get down there through there. They be making sure that they check people about stuff. And I was like, oh, for real? He was like, yeah, man. He said, I kind of know him. I don't know him like that. I just know, what I'm saying, from the child because he worked in the child. He said he knew him like that. And then when they come through with the no pork sign sticker on this thing, and he said he know how to feed them and stuff. So I was like, dang. He was like, yeah, man, them boys don't really be playing. He said, I'm surprised ain't nobody did nothing to you. I said, shit, now you see what I'm talking about. That's why I heard him got my ass up out their yard. I ain't gonna be doing nothing like that. He was like, dang, man. He's like, how much you on for the rugs? And I said, I think I owe him like $30 left. And he was like, oh, for real? He's like, shit, you got it? And, I was like, shit, nah, I ain't got it, man. I said, I ain't got no money right now. I said, and plus, they don't want me to pay it for no money that comes in from the street. They want me to make some money in here to get it. But I don't really know how to make no money up in here to do it. So he was like, dang, man, that's kind of messed up. And he was like, shit, man. I said, now the community mad at me because I ain't got nothing to give them. They just told me to bring them something. It don't matter what they bring me, as long as it's something and stuff like that. He was like, shit, man, dang, man. He's like, man, you smoking? I was like, yeah, I smoke, but I ain't got no cigarettes or nothing like that. He said, nah, you good? He's like, you can hit on my cigarette if you want to. And I was like, shit, I ain't gonna owe you or nothing like that is. He was like, nah, you cool, man. He said, man, I just want to hear how you took them rugs and stuff. So I sit up there, I told him the story, how I did it and stuff. He's sitting up there laughing, shaking his head like, damn, boy, you shouldn't have did nothing like that, you know. He said, man, somebody should have, you know what I'm saying, informed you on something when it came down. You should have knew about the Muslims and stuff. You can't be stealing their rugs because they pray on that stuff. And I was like, shit. I said, but I did it, man. I wasn't thinking, man. I said, I just got out of control with stuff. And he was like, shit, damn, man, that's kind of messed up, you know, with you. And I was like, yep. So we sitting up, like I said, we smoking a cigarette, talking and stuff, going back and forth. And I'm just telling him, you know what I'm saying, basically how I feel and stuff. And he was like, shit, man, I can give you like 4 soups, man, if you needed them, man. So I was like, shit, yeah, man, if you can, I said, I'll pay you back, you know, as soon as I get some compensatory or something like that. And he was like, shit, you ain't got to do nothing like that if you don't want to. I was like, shit, ain't no strings attached to it, is it? And he was like, nah, ain't no strings attached to it. He said, I'm just going to look out for you, you know, because I already know your whole situation. He's just told me a hell of a story. And I was like, shit, I'm in a hell of a position right now, too. So when he came around there, I was sitting on my bunk, he brought me the soups, you know. He said, man, shit, you stay up, man, you know what I'm saying? If you need anything or, you know what I'm saying, you want to talk or whatever, you want to move around here together, he said, just come around here and holler at me, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, man. So I got the 4 soups. I'm like, shit, I'm going to give 2 of them to the community. That way I get 2 weeks to where I can get 1 soup here and 1 soup there. And then that gave me 2 weeks to try to get some money to where I can be all right, to where, you know, hopefully somebody send me some money. So now I got to wait until Wednesday to the call out day in order to give them the soups. So I only got 4 soups. So one day I eat a soup, the next day I eat a soup. So the weekend, now I got to, you know what I'm saying, say to myself, damn, man, am I going to eat these soups or what am I going to do? So y'all let me know what y'all think that I done, you know. But I'm doing my stuff, you know what I'm saying, stressing every day. You know, I ain't smoking, I ain't doing nothing like that. I'm just going back and forth. So Wednesday come, I go to the community. Now, when I get to the community, now I got the 2 soups. I tell them, hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you soup for this week and the soup for next week. And then hopefully on the 3rd week, I have some money to where I can kind of pay you off. So Hakeem was like, yeah, man, okay, that's cool. But, you know, you got to do a little bit better than that because, you know, these little soups right here ain't going to pay your debt off. It ain't going to pay nothing to your debt because shit, I think the soups was 27 cents at that time. She's like 27 cents. Ain't gonna go too far, you know. So I was like, yeah, that's true. He was like, shit, I might want to give you a little book to read or something like that. That way you can kind of pay off your little debt. We can add something on to it once you tell me what you learned, you know what I'm saying, from the books and stuff. So I'm like, shit, all right. So they give me the book. I go out. Now, next week when I come, what he told me to read in the book, I didn't read it at all. So automatically, you know what I'm saying, I'm already at fault right there. So when I come back, this is on the next week. On the week, I ain't got to pay no soups or something. So I'm like, shit, when I come in there, he's like, shit, man, did you learn anything, you know what I'm saying, over the week? And I was like, shit, no. But he said, did you read the book? I was like, shit, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Nah, I ain't even do nothing like that. He said, so you ain't trying to get to know anything about what you're trying to get yourself into? And I was like, shit, not really, man. You know, I'm just trying to hurry and pay your debt off. And he was like, that's the only way that you're going to pay your debt off if you read. You know what I'm saying? He said, because that's what the Quran tell you. That's the first thing that he told the messenger to learn how to read. So if you ain't reading, what are you doing? I was like, shit, man, really nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just walking around here. You know, he said, what you walking around here trying to see what you gonna steal or a hustle on? And I was like, nah, I ain't trying to do nothing like that. Now, the way that he was talking to me made me feel kind of bad because he was putting a lot of pressure on me when it came to that because I was like, shit, why this man, you know what I'm saying, talking to me like, you know, I ain't got no sense or whatever when it comes to this, you know, and I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm paying the soups, and I'm all I gotta do is just wait. Hopefully, ain't nobody send me no money yet, but shit, hopefully somebody will bless me with something to where I can, you know, what I'm saying, keep paying my little debts off, to where everything can go right. So the following week, that's the week that I owe now. Now, when I come to the class, now I ain't talking, I ain't learned nothing about nothing, and I ain't got nothing. So I'm like, shit, man, dang, man, I'm in a bad position when I go up in there. So I'm like, shit, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. So I get up in there, I tell them they up in there doing the Adhan, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. They doing the Adhan. I'm listening to it, you know, I sit down for a second, you know, I wait on, you know what I'm saying, them to do the little prayer, get it over with. So when it was over with, Hakeem come over to me. He's like, what you got for me this week? And I was like, shit, man, I ain't got nothing, man. He was like, you ain't got nothing? 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 And I was like, shit, no, I ain't got nothing. So he gets mad. He start getting, you know what I'm saying, kind of like, man, that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? You doing this and you doing that, and you ain't trying to do this and you ain't trying to do that. He's just on my back about that at 24/7. So I'm like, shit, damn, man. So I'm like, shit, you're just going through this little phase with this mug. So I'm like, shit, that's when that dude Taif come over. He's like, shit, we might as well just take care of him now, you know, just take him to the back and go ahead and get it over with real quick. And then that way he don't owe nothing when it comes to that. He ain't got to pay us. He ain't got to do this. He ain't got to do that. He can just get his little whooping and it just be over with. And I was like, shit, maybe that's what I need to do, you know, because at that time I was just tired of everybody, you know. I was like, shit, man, you know, let's just go ahead and get this over with. I was like, Hakeem, man, I said, man, no disrespect, man. I said, man, I've been through a lot of bull going on right now. I said, man, from the beginning, from me stealing from y'all, I got myself in a situation to where I don't know how to get myself up out of it for real because shit, I ain't really got no money to really take care of nothing myself for while I'm up in here for right now. But shit, I said, man, but I ain't gonna sit up here and be feeling like every day somebody gonna do something to me because shit, I ain't trying to, you know, lose my life over something that I did. And he was like, yeah, but you know, you can't be stealing this stuff from certain people because if you steal from the wrong person, they're gonna end up doing something to you. And I was like, shit, I can understand that. I said, but shit, as of right now, shit, every day I'm living my life basically in fear because I don't know if y'all gonna do something to me or if somebody else gonna do something to me because somebody, you know what I'm saying, telling my business that I've been stealing, so I'm labeled as something. So I'm just going on and on and on and on and on with him about all that. You know, like shit, man, hey, you know, ain't gonna put up with it. You just gonna have to do what you're gonna have to do because shit, as of right now, my hands is up, you know. Shit, whatever y'all gonna do, we just gonna go ahead and get this over with, you know. So Hakeem looked at me, he's like, man, just sit down for a minute. So, you know, everybody sits on the floor. So we all sat on the floor for a minute. He was like, listen here, brother. He's like, we wasn't gonna do nothing to you anyway. You know, once Akbar told us your situation, we already kind of knew it. So we just kind of, you know, looking at you, kind of watching over you to make sure that you're all right, because that's what Akbar told us to do, was to watch over you to make sure that you didn't do nothing kind of crazy while you was down here. He said when we wasn't gonna put our hands on you or do nothing like that. So when he said that, I was like, felt like a little relief come from me. I was like, shit. He was like, you know, as of right now, what I can do is, man,
I'm just gonna go on here and cut you off on the rugs. You don't owe anything. You don't owe us nothing. He said all I can do is invite and remind you to come to the community if you want to. If you want to come next week, you know what I'm saying, that'd be good. But if you don't want to come next week, he said ain't gonna be no harm or anything like that. It's just gonna be, whatever. So I was like, shit, man, that's cool, man. I was like, shit, what's up, man? He was like, shit, you can leave anytime that you want to, and you can leave. You ain't got to come back if you want. Like I said, if you want to come back, you can come back, but let the door hit you where you go. So I was like, all right. So I get up. When I'm walking out, that's when that dude Taifa came up behind me. He was like, he's like, I'm gonna be watching you. You don't worry about that. So wherever you look and you see me, just know that I'm watching you. I'm watching you, youngster. And I was like, shit, damn, man. When I walked up out the thing, I was like, shit, man, I don't know, man. Shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I get on back to my little cube, feeling a little relief or whatever. Shit, a few minutes later, a fight kind of jumped off in the little hallway right there. Now my ethers was back on again. I was scared again because I ain't know if it was about to go down again. So I was like, shit, man, I'm glad all this is over with, for real, man. Hopefully it can actually be over with. The next week, I ended up going to the community again. And from there on, I started going every week after that because shit, once I got up in there, I was like, shit, I had the tables to sit at. They kind of looked out for me on certain things. I ain't saying that I got pulled into that situation, but it's something that I started with. I said, shit, since I started with it, I might as well finish with it. And that's what I ended up doing. But yeah, in prison, things happen like that all the time. You might end up stealing something and getting yourself in a bad predicament to where people could come up on you to do something. Some groups are different. Some gangs are different. It's just depending on whatever they feel like their consequence should be for whatever actions that you pull. But when you're doing crazy stuff up in prison, things always end up going bad on you. Somebody can end up killing you. You can end up, getting hurt. Like I said, took advantage of at any given time because you end up owing somebody some money for certain things. I mean, it just could be anything. My best advice to you is don't go to prison to even witness anything like that. You want to make sure that you stay with your family, stay on the street, and be more supportive towards people. That way, you ain't got to dig yourself out of holes when it comes to certain stuff. Because in prison, once you get up in there ain't no turning back because everything that you do, it has to be penitentiary bound from the day that you start to the day that you finish. So you got to be strong 24/7. You got to be humble 24/7. You can't disrespect nobody. Especially can't steal from nobody. And you especially can't do no type of harm to anybody up in there because you're going to end up being in there more longer. So like I said, my best advice to you is to stay up out of penitentiary. Much love to you. This is your boy Fat. Y'all stay up and y'all be peaceful. I'm up out of here.